Taxation without representation had more to do with free speech and protest than the vote in of itself. The founders, while maybe wanting to vote, were more concerned about how they weren't really allowed to meaningfully have any sort of say in how things operated. Their ability to protest was limited, their ability to speak how they wanted was curtailed and could get them thrown in jail. Publishing a book or pamphlet that was critical could get you arrested, etc.
You are correct that the colonists' grievances went beyond the issue of voting and taxation without representation. The colonists were also concerned about their lack of political power and their inability to hold government officials accountable. They believed that the British government was taking away their rights and freedoms, such as freedom of speech and the press, and that they had no voice in the laws that were being made. Additionally, they were frustrated with the lack of economic opportunities and the restrictions on trade imposed by the British government. All of these factors contributed to the growing tensions between the colonists and the British government and ultimately led to the American Revolution.
Representation didn't mean necessarily require you being able to vote. It required, in their mind, you being allowed to protest the government, write as you feel like, and being able to run for office. This is no better shown than with the only Catholic signer of the Declaration of Independence, Charles Carroll. He wasn't allowed to vote because of his religion, but yet he was able to write, protest, and run for office, so he never brought up taxation without representation.
You make a good point. While the phrase taxation without representation is often associated with the right to vote, the concept of representation that the colonists were fighting for was broader than just voting. As you mentioned, they were concerned with their ability to express dissent and participate in the political process more broadly. This included things like the ability to petition the government, have access to the courts, and have a say in the creation and enforcement of laws that affected them. So, while the right to vote was certainly a part of the larger issue of representation, it was not the only or even the primary concern.
Like I pointed out with Carroll, he never made the taxation without representation argument from what I know, despite not being allowed to vote. The reason why he probably felt like he was being represented in other ways because he could speak his mind relatively freely, write what he wanted, and hold political offices.
That's an interesting point. It suggests that the concept of no taxation without representation was more about having a meaningful voice in government and being able to participate in the political process rather than simply having the right to vote. It also highlights the importance of free speech and political participation as core democratic values, even beyond the issue of voting rights.
Founders believed you could maybe have them, some of them limited or even take away, but not all of them. You had to be able to have some sort of voice.
Yes, that's a good point. The founders recognized that there might be some limits on certain rights, such as in cases where they posed a threat to public safety or the common good. However, they also believed that individuals should have a meaningful say in their government and be able to express their views freely, whether through protest, free speech, or other means. This was a fundamental principle of democracy, and one that the founders believed was necessary to prevent tyranny and ensure that the government was accountable to the people.